Welcome to Firearms of America, and today, as you guys can see, I have two Glocks 35 in my hands. One of them is Generation 4, one of them is Generation 3. Let's see which one is what. Generation 4, Generation 3. And as I've promised, I am going to do the comparison video, so you know exactly the differences. Let's start with the shooting. And I'm going to start respect older generation, right? Generation 3. Respect for them. Let's do that first. So I have done a separate review on a Generation 3, and I have done a separate review on a Generation 4. I briefly mentioned a few differences between the two, but if you really want to know exactly what the differences are, this is the video for you. So I'm gonna put in some 5 rounds through Generation 3 first, and I'm gonna put some 5 rounds right after through the Generation 4. Now, let's start with magazines. Really not much to talk about because they're absolutely exactly 100% the same. In fact, you can interchange. So if you do have a Generation 4 gun, you can put it in Generation 3 and vice versa. Now, obviously, both of them are chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. That's the 35, Glock 35, 40 Smith & Wesson. I think one of my favorites rounds, probably 40 Smith & Wesson. I just love that caliber. Okay, so let's do 5 shots here, and with Generation 3, the first one, we're gonna try to hit. Let's do the white one in the middle. All right, let's do that. And let's see if I can hit it. 5 rounds. Pretty good. Let's see what I can do with a Generation 4, a new generation. Yeah. And let's see what we've got. And I'll try to do that yellow one on top. A bit close. Close. Very close. And I briefly touched it. So, let's talk about the similarities. First of all, the triggers are exactly the same. Now, the dimensions, you might say that they are exactly the same. However, if you actually check the specifications on the website, you will see that the Generation 4 Glock is actually 2 millimeters shorter. Now, if you put them back to back, you won't be able to tell the difference. They look exactly the same. However, it is just a tiny overall length, not the barrel length, but the overall length is a little bit shorter on the Generation 4. Also, whenever it comes to the grip, this is one of the main differences between the two. As you can see, the pattern itself on the Generation 4 is different from the Generation 3. And the feel that you get from it, you do have a little bit of more of an aggression on this particular grip, on the Generation 4. Of course, you also have some differences in the back, as you can see in the pattern. And again, this right here, Generation 3, feels a little bit softer compared to this pattern right here on the Generation 4. Overall, the grip is a little bit smaller, just a tiny little bit. Pretty good for smaller hands. I do like this one a little bit more. But it's really hard to tell the difference in size between the two. Both of them feel good, and both of them have, as you can see, those grooves that some people like, some people don't. Now, whenever it comes to the mag releases, the mag release is a little bit of a bigger area on the Generation 4, which I like, compared to the Generation 3. As you can see, the button here kind of stands out not that bad. It's not ambidextrous, as you can see. What's up, Kevin?
What's up?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Did you grab some guns?
No, I didn't grab anything.
Yeah, go tell Mr. Cody whichever one you want.
Really?
Just pick. Everything is for rent. Let's talk about the triggers. Now, I said they're practically exactly, well, not practically, they are exactly the same. And let me demonstrate. Generation 4, Generation 3, and we have, let's see, make sure both of them fit into the camera. There we go. So, on the back we have Generation 3, in the forward we have Generation 4. So we have obviously our pre-trigger on both of them, and then you do have probably 1 millimeter, then some good distance, probably about 2 millimeters on both, and then crisp. So yeah, the trigger pulls, they feel exactly the same. I do love it. I love this Glock trigger, probably one of my favorites. Now the slide stop is not ambidextrous on both of these guys, and you have probably noticed one of the main differences whenever I was showing the slides, whenever I was comparing the sizes. This is really one of the main differences between the Generation 3 and the Generation 4. As you can see, on the Generation 4, you have this cap which can be removed so that you can install the MOS, the modular optics system, on this, which is basically just your red dot for the pistol. And I really do like it. You know, if you're planning to shoot some competition, do some competition shooting with this gun, and you ever want to upgrade it with the optic system, modular optic system, there you go, you have that option. Now the serrations on the slide are exactly the same. As you can see, both have exactly the same lengths, external extractors, right? And of course the cutouts are exactly the same. Now the sides are the same on these particular two models, although the side on the Generation 4, as you can see, it kind of goes a little bit backwards, which, don't pay attention to this, it is exactly the same side, it's just the way it is. No, actually, you know what, it's not the way it is, it's actually where it is sitting on the slide. As you can see on the back, it is a little bit closer to the edge compared to this one, but it's done. It is the way it is installed because they had to accommodate for the space required for that modular optics system. Now, another one of the main differences between the Generation 3 and Generation 4 is, if you have noticed, in the guide rod, now there were additional, as you can see here in the Generation 4, around the guide rod, there is a steel ring that goes and prevents the guide rod from being kind of floppy around, and it is a little bit thicker itself. Actually, what it gives you, it does make the recoil a little bit more manageable. However, I wanted to point this out, the slide does feel a little bit tighter on the Generation 4 compared to the Generation 3. It is a little bit easier to ride than Generation. So let's do a few more rounds and we'll come to our conclusion. Now, Glocks, Glock 35, Glocks in general, I do like them. I see why people like them. They are reliable, they're basic in a good way. There's really nothing that can possibly go wrong with those. And that's really one of the other things that I wanted to point out here. As you can see, there aren't really a lot of differences, you know, between two generations. And that tells you something. That tells you that the original design, it was already pretty good. You don't really need to upgrade much stuff to make it any better because it is already good. And I respect that. So let's do 5 more rounds on each of these guys and we'll come to our conclusion. Now, whenever it comes to the price, buying a Generation 3 might save you a bit around $100 and $150. So it is a pretty good savings considering how much the gun itself is. And this is right now the Generation 4. We're gonna start with the Generation 4 and I'll try to finish up that white right there in the middle. Let's see. Oh, bullseye on the last one. Now I can be proud of myself for the rest of the day. Let's see if I can hit the bullseye for that yellow one on the top. And we got our generation 3 here. Alright, yellow, don't let me down. Well, it's not the yellow, it's the gun. Let's see. Oh, bullseye from the first one. Holy cow. Ah, close. That's it. See, I got too excited now. I'm missing the target. Ah! Alright, so I got the first shot. Bullseye. Then got too excited. Then got a little bit more concentrated on the very last one. And got a decent shot there. Yes, now I can definitely be proud of myself. Overall, honestly, I think I like the grip a little bit more just because it has less aggression on the Generation 3. I do like the lighter, softer slide on the Generation 3 as well. However, I think because I want myself to go sometime soon, shoot competition shooting, USPSA. In this case, I probably would go with the Generation 4 because I kind of see myself using that MOS. And that's really it. That's really the only main thing. But overall, if you want to save money and still have a good, reliable gun, Generation 3 might be the way to go. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Firearms of America. See you guys in the next video.
Alright, good.
Good.